It costs that much cause it takes me fucking hours. Fucking hours. It costs that much cause I don't have superpowers. Superpowers. So you need to pay for my skills cause exposure doesn't pay the bills. It costs that much cause it takes me fucking hours. You need to pay for my skills cause exposure doesn't pay the bills. It costs that much cause it takes me fucking hours. Shhh.
Well, now, seems like we just did this like 24 hours ago. Woohoo! How's everybody doing? It's Saturday night, Sunday morning. Hope everybody's having a good time. You know who I am, this jerk. You know, trying to stay off the streets. Or if I am on the streets, I'm trying to make that money. You know what I mean? Secret show. Shh. Don't tell anyone, but tell everybody. It's a paradox. Green Meadows. Good to see you. Hello, Jesse in the chat doing some mingling. Cynical Girl, good to see you as well. We got Reef here. What's up, buddy? Ricky Rance stopping by. Miguel's here too. So a little early. It's all right. Still some shows going on. I think Political Matrix still going on, and Beauty and the Boomer too. So maybe some stragglers will come in after that. Hey, Andrew from the Rochford Files. Good to see you too, brother. Check out his show on YouTube. I can't say it enough. We got to spread the love for all our content creators. And speaking of spreading the love, musical love tonight, I got my INN brother with me here, Jesse Jett, and he's dying to take care of some musical business. What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. How are you doing?
And I'm feeling fine. We were talking about booze during the musical portion of the show before there. Talking about good northern beer and how it's practically liquor. Mm-hmm. And it's so good. So good. It goes down smooth like a mountain stream. Woo! It's the cores of beer. Wait a minute. No. It's the Cadillac of cars. Wait a minute. No. What? Now, well, so you whenever you're not doing great music and spoken word, you have an actual day job, right? Is that what's going on? And you work. What do you do?
I'm in the beer industry. I'm lucky enough to be in the beer industry, and so I get to try too many beers, and yeah,
too many beers. No such thing, sir.
Find myself with an awful lot of beer at home. One of the nicest things about which is being able to give beer away. If I have a plumber or electrician come to the house, being able to give them a case of beer when they leave. I have had one guy burst into tears and you do that, makes them want to come back, you know? So it's a great way to lock in, some really great people for home repair and stuff. So,
well, now, you give a man a case of beer, that's like somebody giving away their daughter for marriage, because it could be real bubbly or it could be real flat, just like the daughter. True. Wait, what? So, no, I've seen people just break down into tears for getting like a free case of beer, especially depending on the beer, right? Mm-hmm. Like a really good beer, it's just like, we're kinfolk now because you have done this, but you're like, you putting over a case of like Olympia, and it's like, what did I do to you? What?
Maybe the best was I had a case of beer in my car. I had just left work for the day, and on my way home, guy slams on his brakes in front of me. I can't brake in time to not tap him. Little love tap. We get out. We look at the car's Cars are okay. We're both good. I'm like, I'm good if you're good. He's like, yeah, I'm good. I was like, do you want some beer? The guy was obviously drinking age. He's like, what? I was like, yeah, I work for a brewery. Do you want some beer? He's like, man, I would love some beer. And so I gave him a couple 6-packs, and there we go. We're on our way.
Wow. That there's so much power in that too, right? Because that guy will, like, he will sense if you are ever in danger or in trouble, and he will come find you and help you. Like like that beer triggered his Jesse Jett danger radar, and so now it's like you're like hanging from a cliff somewhere. You're like, oh well, I guess this is the end. You know, it was a great life. You know, I hope everything's fine. All of a sudden, this hand comes down, drags you up, and it's the dude you gave beer to.
The guy. Yeah.
That is like alcoholic karma right there. It's delicious.
The life debt. It's the kind of bond that never goes away.
I don't know. I'm always like if I go somebody's house or something like that, and it's not a party, right? It's just like, you know, I'll go somewhere with the with a lady friend or something, like maybe to her relatives or something, and the relative that I don't know will ask me like, hey, you want a beer? And I'm just like, it just feels like they're saying I love you when they say that to me. And I'm just
exactly.
Like, and when I say, yeah, I'll take a beer, thanks, it's like I'm saying I love you too, but it's like beer code. And it's just amazing.
The international language. It's like Esperanto.
That's got Esperanto. it's alcoholic Esperanto. We're breaking new ground here tonight. I love it. Wait a minute. I forgot. I had to do one thing before we get started. It's kind of tradition now, I guess. So we got to check in on the chickens over at Chicken City.
Oh yeah.
Earlier today. What's clucking? What's the cluck's going on here? Let me see if we can make this a little bigger for the kids.
Esperanto. Oh, that's fantastic.
Esperanto. Oh, nice. I almost thought it was an Eagles song for a second. Esperanto. Why are you speaking in riddles? So
yeah, look at that, just posted up.
What happened?
They're just posted up, man. They're just so serious right now.
Oh, the chickens? Yeah, they're like, Jesse Jett's on the show. Fuck yeah. Let's licking feathers, you know. Get ready. You know, the chicken check-in. That's right.
It's like a metal band doing their album cover. Like, one of you's just gonna sit and stare at the ground. One of you's gonna stand and look off this way. You got the one guy just staring the camera down.
I will fuck you up. I will fuck you up. Oh man! All right. Well, that's enough of those.
So fun to just take animal noises and use it to make a metal song. I mean,
do you think it's been done already though?
There's already guys that do the
piggy sounds.
Yeah. Job for a Cowboy does that, which is the best band name I've ever heard in my life. Can I just say, Job for a Cowboy is such a fucking good band name. It hurts. I wish I'd come up with that. Like. Oh.
Job for a Cowboy.
So good.
Well, you know, they also Pink Floyd had a song called Pigs on their album Animals, and they had pig noises in that too. So technically it's been done. It just hasn't. I don't know if they used it as a musical instrument per se, but they definitely had the pig noise in there. True. So
I've always loved metal. I was lucky enough to get to sing in a metal band for a while, and it's a vocal style that's near and dear to me, and also not something you can do all the time if you want to be able to sing nice and clear the rest of the time. So I had to make a choice, you know, of early on which one I was going to focus my time on. But metal has always been really dear to my heart. Week before last, Trevor Strnad, the lead singer for the Black Dahlia murder, committed suicide. And it was already a rough couple days, and that just hit me like a gut punch. So I come home and I'm listening to some of their stuff, and I was watching a live performance, and my son came up, and he's 5, and he likes metal a lot, which is really great for me to see. And he's watching for a minute, and he's like, you know what? when I get older, I think I'd like to have a metal band, but instead of screaming, wouldn't it be spooky if it was just like weird breathing, like heavy breathing noises instead? I was like, yeah, that'd be fucking terrifying, actually.
Your son's
Like,
on the
great
right
idea, don't
track.
get me wrong. That's metal as fuck, but it's also really scary.
Yeah, he's on the right track. He's he's gonna be a normal kid. So
It's so great. We were in the car one day and we're listening to Lamb of God, and he starts headbanging and just starts going and just doing this face. I'm like, what's the face about? He goes, I don't know. I just have to do that when the song starts playing. Like, yep, that's mine.
Yeah,
All right.
it's required by law whenever you're headbanging to like even though you're not making a noise, you just gotta
Yep. Just like like Billy Idol getting whiplash. It's just so great.
I got to tell you, earlier today, I mean, I was late to the party when it came to metal. I was like, I wasn't really a big fan because I was like an old rocker, old classic rock. You know, I'm more traditional rock and roll. But then some of it, like some of it started. I don't know if you consider Rage Against the Machine. Is that considered metal? Is that kind of metalish, or is it more rock, or is it?
I think they'd probably be in a hard rock. I mean, I'm a music nerd, so I've got subgenres to my subgenres. You know, we'll break metal down into 14 different little categories. But yeah, I would put Rage in probably a hard rock.
Okay, well, but Disturbed is probably, or is that more hard rock too? Because
so Disturbed, if and again I'm just nerding myself out here. Actually, the correct term you're looking for is called new metal. New metal is used to describe a lot of your late 90s, early 2000s bands like Korn, Disturbed, and Linkin Park.
Okay, well, like I know this is probably blaspheme to a lot of people, but I was never really a Metallica fan. I guess I don't know. I guess it was just like too much speed drumming. And it just sounded like, I don't know. I was young too. It wasn't like I was like, hey, shit's driving me crazy. Back in my day, we used to listen to Floyd Benson, and he would play with his bass band, and we'd sing in the park and give oyster crackers to the ducks. You know, I mean, I'm not that guy, but, you know, but it was like, I got to college, it was like, you know, exit light, enter night. I mean, I guess I do like Sandman a little bit. Sandman's okay, but then I found out what's the that what was that sharing service that they
Napster.
Napster, yeah. What's the Napster shit? And they just turned out to be like, yeah, you got to pay for our music. You're like, I guess so, but don't you guys got enough money? Anyway, you know, that's an argument.
Here's a great question. I've never asked you this, which is crazy. I love to ask everybody this question. If there were 3 bands or artists that you could erase from existence, they never made music, they never influenced someone else to make music, who would you do away with?
Ooh.
Because some people will immediately go after like a one-hit wonder they hated, the one song I can't stand, or this band that's always gotten on my nerves. Other people will take the pragmatic approach and be like, where's the head of the snake if I want to take out a genre, you know? Like you might love Pearl Jam, but do you hate Hinder and Buckcherry enough to take out Pearl Jam so that they never did what they, you know? There's arguably some old Yeller moments where you have to consider sacrifices to be made in order to spare yourself a lot of pain in the future.
So wait a minute. If Pearl Jam never existed, that means Buckcherry would have never existed. Like in the scenario, I would argue right?
That like Pearl Jam, as phenomenal as they are, was a big gateway to a lot of butt rock. If you're hating Creed, kill Pearl Jam, and there's a good chance you're not going to get a Creed in the future, you know?
Can I just kill
if
Creed?
You're really trying to stop that butt and cock rock of the early 2000s, I feel like the more Pearl Jam moments are what led us there, you know?
I think my tolerance for that kind of music, it stops at Pearl Jam. Creed can, we can give them a Viking funeral. We can set them out on a raft, light them on fire, say some nice words, but as long as they're gone, that's fine. So
Now,
Creed's got to go.
can I just say, Scott Stapp from Creed wrote the funniest autobiography known to man. It is called Sinner's Creed. I have a copy, and maybe one night I'll read excerpts from it, because I've never come across someone trying to be like humble and ashamed of their past while also being like, isn't this the fucking sickest story you've ever heard in your life? Like, he's so jacked about it still. It's so great. Oh my God. It's just the best. Yeah.
3 though, I mean, like, see, I'm all over the place when it comes to music. Like I'm
Mhm.
I grew up with, like I said, I grew up with classic rock, but I also grew up with like old country too. You know, like, you know, like Hello Walls, you know, like the Charlie Rich, the Silver
Nice.
Fox, you know, some you know, Louisiana woman, Mississippi man, we get together every time we can, you know. Because I think I just like the hairdo, the hairstyles of the men and the clothes of those country rockers back then. But I guess like like a lot of the 80s music I really loved. I would have accidentally killed Flock of Seagulls if I had not heard the rest of their catalog. Like, I have their greatest hits. There are some bangers in there. There are some serious great songs in there that are just like they are totally 80s, but they're not
And
pop
people
80s.
think you're kidding when you tell them, hey, you should hear their other stuff. But like, no, seriously, you should hear their other stuff. Like, it's really good.
It's amazing. I play Grand Theft Auto 5, right? And one of the reasons I play that is because you can create self radio in there, right? You can drop your own MP3s into a. I played on PC, right? So I think you can only do it on PC, but you drop all your music into a folder there, and it does like commercial breaks and all that, and it just plays them randomly. But
that's awesome.
You know, it's so cool. And I've got a lot of Flock of Seagulls deep cuts in there too. So you know, so I mean, like, but back in the day though, I was like, and I ran. Oh God, I ran to the bathroom and threw up because I keep hearing the song. Green Meadows says killing off the Butthole Surfers might have killed off Depression Rock. I can't kill off the Butthole Surfers for one reason, and that's Going Down to Florida. I love that song. It's just so out there. Just I'm going down to Florida. I'm gonna bowl me a perfect game. It's just so.
I feel like there's something about the tone that Butthole Surfers got that if they hadn't happened, stoner metal, like the really doomy bands like Sleep and like all the like straight up stoner bands now wouldn't be as sludgy as they are if it wasn't for some of Butthole Surfers stuff. That's no. I could be wrong. It's happened once or twice, but you're gonna get rid of Garth Brooks. Well, that's kind of a double whammy on it, because then you're taking out Chris too, and I don't know if I'm gonna stand for that.
You know, fun story. When I was my first radio gig.
Oh, Big Mad Crab.
Yeah, I know, Mad Crab killing it, killing innocent citizens to the Wiggles in GTA. Yeah, exactly, brother. I know, man. And I ran you over. So
Crab, by the way, I'm gonna need to know your 3 bands too that you'd erase from history.
Yes, please let us know in the comments there. We'll put them up there for Jesse. Fun Garth Brooks story, although it's not fun. So there was this when I was in radio, first radio gig I had. Somehow we got tickets. Garth Brooks was coming to Mississippi State. That's the town where I was working at and going to school, and it was like a lottery thing. You had to stay overnight at the stadium, and then they were going to do the lottery first thing in the morning, right? So I was in love with a woman who well, I wasn't in love. I really liked this girl who it turned out she was a lesbian afterwards, so that wasn't going to work out. But
Oh, I know that game.
the thing was, I found out because she really liked NASCAR. She liked NASCAR a little too much, and my gaydar kind of went, okay, all right,
Waving a red
you know.
flag at that finish line.
So, but I got the tickets for her, right? And I stayed up all night, and I finally got the tickets, and and it was the day of the show, and I said, I called her up, and I said, hey, what time you want me to pick you up for the show? She said, oh, I'm not going. And I was like, but I made nice little profit off of those tickets, so there was a bright side. So I lost the lesbian, but I made a profit. So that was cool.
You know, God closes one door, he opens another one.
Oh yeah, he closed that lesbian door really quick. He said no.
Okay,
no.
Jimmy's taking out Limp Bizkit.
Oh man, I don't know. Chocolate Starfish.
Shut the fuck up. Because if you don't care, then we don't care.
Because if you don't care, then we don't care. Chocolate Starfish. I
feel like Limp Bizkit is one of those bands like the Bee Gees that was hugely popular, just kills it. And one day we wake up collectively and we're like, you know what? You're a fucking joke. You are a punchline from here on.
I mean, Roland is like, look, okay, so I was working at this TV station and I used that song
the
for
test of time.
We were making a Saints New Orleans Saints promo for our TV station because we were on the Gulf Coast, and I used that song, and I really like that song. In fact, I still have it. You know, now I know y'all be loving this right here. Limp Bizkit in the house, LIMP.
Oh god.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, didn't they do it? I did it all for the Nookie. The Nookie, what that Limp Bizkit too?
Mm-hmm.
Why you gonna kill Limp Bizkit? That's
the best possible cover of Faith by George Michael that you could do.
We used to do we used to do karaoke on Friday nights at this place, and we there was this one guy, that's all he did. That when you went up, he knew he was going to do the Limp Bizkit version of Faith, because he would get like his buddies around because you gotta have faith, you gotta have faith. And you know, everybody's like, we're drinking like it's like you know Game of Thrones, just like drinking like mead, and it's going all over the place, and oh my god. She said, I like the song Rolling When I Did Ecstasy, and that's it. Well, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of good songs that are great on drugs. Come on. Like Limp Bizkit. I mean, maybe that's, maybe I was on drugs when I was listening to Limp Bizkit too. So, all right. So we got rid of,
Yep. Who's on the chopping block for you?
All right. So we got rid of Creed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Creed out the door. Oh boy. And it could be any genre.
Yes. Oh my God, Reef, you're so true. Now I've gotten way too down that rabbit hole trying to think of what do you accidentally kill? Who's to say if you don't, like he said, what if you take out Tiny Tim and you don't get Prince? You don't know until you do,
Now you're talking about two legends here, right? That Tiny Tim and Prince, two legends. Creed, come on, who's Creed influencing? Creed, Creed, you listen to when you don't have syrup of Ipecac in the house, and poison control tells you the ambulance is 2 hours away and you need to vomit now. So we're all wide open. It just sounds like somebody has sunk to the Marianas Trench to the bottom, and now they're being compressed, but they're trying to sing a song at the same time.
Yeah, true. Creed you can get rid of, and you're not worried about upsetting the balance of anything. There's not a pretty big ripple coming off of Creed,
Yeah, so I mean that's a really hard
Like
question.
one of mine is arguably one that not only makes a lot of people hate me, but also would be a bigger ripple effect than I arguably understand the implications of. It wouldn't be until after I press the button I go, oh shit, there goes all that stuff I liked, and it all because I killed the Beach Boys. But I would still pull the plug on the Beach Boys.
Wow.
That's my big blow. Yeah.
You
I'd probably
know,
be the Beach Boys, the Doors, and Red Hot Chili Peppers.
if I killed off the Beatles, then there's no Charles Manson. You're welcome. You're welcome. So and that's another thing that
Steely
people get.
Dan. Oh.
No, come on. Look, all right, he's a
Mm.
douchebag in real life. Okay, but come on. I mean, Steely Dan.
Back to you.
With Michael McDonald. I do a pretty good Michael McDonald impression if anybody cares.
Me too. Can we? You go first.
Okay,
What are you singing?
was it? He came from some place back in the long ago. Oh, tell me what you say, what you wanna see. That falsetto, that. Oh. So about 30 years ago, Steely Dan and Michael McDonald were part of the Rock and Soul Review here in New York. It was like a whole variety of different artists were performing, and they performed Pretzel Logic live. And it was like that's probably my favorite Steely Dan song is Pretzel Logic live. Mm-hmm. When you got Michael McDonald doing the bridge, we're going, when I stepped upon the platform, the man gave me the news. He said, you must be joking, but where did you get those shoes, boy? Dun, 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 dun. Ha! Where did you get those shoes? Yeah, it's so good. No, it's just.
You just drop for a minute. You're so good. Your signal dropped for a minute.
I know, man. The internets can't handle Michael Mack. You know what I mean, Mike Mack.
Fun Michael McDonald deep cut if you want to dig for it. I can't remember the record now, but he does a cover of Redemption Song by Bob Marley. But he tries to kind of de-reggae the lyrics as much as he can, so he changes the perspective. So he says, like, pirate ships, they rob them, stole them from the merchant ships, and it feels so, but it's, oh my god, it's so funny because he literally starts off with a like just like a couple little soft cues before he starts it. It's like, oh, pirate ships, they rob us. It's so good. I can't even. We at my job a long time ago, we started listening to the same live Michael McDonald DVD that they watch on a loop in 40-Year-Old Virgin. We found the soundstage, I think 2005 performance. We start listening, ironically, to Michael McDonald every day. After about a week, we are ironically listening to Michael McDonald. We know all the words. We're singing all the parts. Next thing you know, we're like listening to other live things and comparing notes. And suddenly we're listening to the Doobie Brothers Santa Barbara 1982 live show once a week. Like we got pretty deep down the Michael McDonald rabbit hole that we almost all went to see him in Grand Rapids until we saw the ticket prices. Like, oh, that's a fucking paycheck. Like, I can't do that.
Mike Mack is not worth a paycheck. I mean, I like Mike Mack, but you know, you don't know me, but I'm your brother. You know,
there's a great version of What Fool Believes, a parody someone did that's all about nachos called What a Fool Will Eat, and it's exceptional. It's so oh, hang on.
He came from some place back near
like,
the Taco Bell.
From somewhere way down in Mexico. A quintessential food that they eat, taking all the corn around into crispy chip tortillas. They're laid in a pile, they cool for a while, for that nostalgic taste. Don't forget the beans, they've been cooking all day. They use that real spice. They never give it up. Beans had their place from the start, but the meat found its way to their heart. These are just moments in the history of people making super dope nachos. Mega dope shows. What a fool will eat. It's supreme. The wise man chooses nachos with cool sour cream, chips and beans, double meat. I love pico de gallo.
The pico de gallo.
That's all I remember. I don't know the second verse, but
you kill me at beans. Oh shit, beans. That made me cry. I can't see. God damn it! My
and what's
glasses.
the best? If anyone looks up What a Fool Will Eat, the video is just a picture of Michael McDonald and someone's mouth superimposed like the old Conan bit.
Yeah.
So it's just so fucking
Like some
good.
clutch
So
cargo
good.
thing.
Oh really? It's
Beans.
it's amazing.
Pico de gallo. The what? Pico de gallo. Oh my god.
I don't know if you guys could hear my cat. My cat was losing his shit that whole time because I was singing. He was just like pacing around. I hear you.
He said, "Is that Michael McDonald singing about pico de gallo and beans?" Mm-hmm. Oh my god!
The best of both worlds.
That is just that kills me. All right. Back to the murder. We gotta get back to the murder. Right. Okay. So I can't kill Steely Dan. I got too much invested in Steely Dan. I can't kill Supertramp either. I got too much invested in Supertramp too. Even though Dreamer, Breakfast in America is probably one of my all-time favorite albums. Even though Dreamer is not on that album, it's which is a shame because if Dreamer was on that album, I'd never listen to any other of those of Supertramp's albums. But let's see. So I don't know. I'd probably kill some early 90s stuff. I'd probably kill like the guy that did Who Let the Dogs Out. That guy's got to go. Come on, Who Let the Dogs Out?
Baha Men.
Baha Men. They're not influencing
That's
anybody.
why I love there usually is. Like I said, there was someone hit wonder that hurt them bad enough that there was a guy I work with. I hadn't even finished asking the question. And I was like, you erase them from history. They never made music. He goes, Chumbawamba. Like it just ripped out of this man. He couldn't contain himself.
Oh my God, you can't kill Chumbawamba.
And I was like, dude, Chumbawamba, I don't know if you understand some of their other stuff. And he was like, no, they gotta go. They have to. It was a very personal thing for him. So
look, all right.
Chumbawamba kicked your ass outside of a show or something once.
Right. Well, if he got knocked down, he got up again because you're never going to keep him down. See, it's Chumbawamba. Look, there's tub thumping, but then there's they have a great tune called Memory Loss. That's I don't know if that's a B-side to Tub Thumping or not, but Memory Loss by Chumbawamba is awesome. You get that bat, and then you get a little brass in there. And
all right.
And then it's just it's kind of like this beat.
Okay.
And it's anyway. So
I'm there.
All right. So Creed and Baha Men, goodbye. Into the ocean you go.
Goodbye, Baha Men sounds like a Loretta Lynn song.
I think it was an old Pink Floyd song too. It was Goodbye, Baha Men. Oh, those men of Baha. Ooh, another toke. What? There's
right, you got
okay,
one more.
One more. I'm gonna say I don't know. I don't like to play God with people's lives, Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
So this is hard. Although Creed and Baha, man, I could give a fuck about those people. Maybe Garth Brooks. Who was his alter ego? It was Chris. Who was it?
Chris Gaines.
Chris Gaines. Yeah, because I think Garth had the soul patch, right? And then Chris didn't. That was like his Clark Kent thing. That's how you could tell them apart.
Yeah.
Only it was
and he
the
had
soul
Karen
patch.
hair. He had the like.
Oh, the Karen hair. Oh wait, Chris had the soul patch. Garth didn't have the soul patch. Right. Yeah, and he had the emo like I don't know, soft cell, I guess. I mean, one hit wonder.
All right.
They didn't even, and it wasn't even an original. It was like
I was about saying, yeah, half of it isn't even theirs.
Does anybody know any other soft cell songs besides Tainted Love? That's an honest question for the chat.
Oh,
anybody, no, right?
No,
yeah, we're not gonna miss soft cell. Okay,
I don't think the guy from Soft Cell could answer that right now.
He's probably like, yeah, we did one song we had a concert and we played Tainted Love for like 45 minutes and it wasn't even our own song. But I got to tell you this, now that I'm done with my killing spree. So I got stuck on that Disturbed song at the beginning of the pandemic because I saw this video and it was a cat video, but it was all like these fucked up weird cats and they had the Disturbed music in there, right? It's like cats knocking over shit and just like having weird looks on their face and then like smelling stuff and going, that kind of, just building up oh, shit. So they got me on a little. It took me on a little adventure today. It's just a small one because I wanted to say, okay, who's covered Disturbed, and who did? It was some band, I can't remember their name, but it was two girls that was singing. One was singing like kind of she was singing the verses, and the other one was a little more gravelly, and she was doing "Why'd you give it to me?" She was doing that kind of stuff. It was great. And I thought, okay, that's cool. And then there was this guy. It was a video. It was called 20 different covers, 20 covers in 20 styles of Disturbed, and he did a Simon and Garfunkel version, right? I mean, just like it was the whole song, but it was like the parts of the song was divided up into the different genres. And he did a Tears for Fears version where it was just like, get up and get down with the sickness. You better get up and get down with the sickness. That Roland Orzabal
awesome
sound to his voice. It was just like, this actually sounds pretty good.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they did like a Bill Withers part. There was like did an Earth, Wind and Fire part. It was the whole song, but it was just like, it almost sounded like a medley of songs, but it was the same song, hilarious. Just different parts. So anyway, but you wanted to come on last night, and my technical prowess did not allow it because I'm kind of stupid. But tonight I said I'm going to make amends. I want to get Jesse on because you got some new stuff for us, right? You have some spoken word stuff for it. Are you ready to jump into that? Because we'll get back in the crazy here in a second.
Yeah, no, let's bang this out. So this I wrote day before yesterday. And I was trying to not, because I'm at this point where I've mentioned I'm kind of like backed up with songs that I need to record to finish this album, and then I keep writing more stuff that I want on the album, and suddenly it's getting longer and there's more and more unfinished songs, and instead of like finishing things, I just keep adding on to the inbox. So this was another one that, like, once I started writing, I was like, I need to go ahead and just see this through. and it ended up kind of going off the rails from a little about me, a little about everything else, and especially the title. I couldn't, once I came to a crossroads in my rhyme scheme, and this seemed like the obvious next step, and I had to take it. So there will be a standing invitation if Taylor Swift wants to join in on this. There will be room for a verse for her. This is called Communism, Taylor's version. Blue check, better hold your breath. I'll slap you out your Ray-Bans. Toe to toe, we'll do-si-do and dip until you faceplant. If you want statistics, I can spit them up like Rain Man. Now your argument has 0 arms and legs like Rayman. Now we're touring 2019 like it was Graceland. I dropped 50 pounds, I started dressing like a stagehand. Quarantine was born and I restored my former waistband. Now I make the trailers for our future in the wasteland. Back on my bullshit. Back at my heaviest, here to grab the artifact and jam it in the edifice, force it in the orifice, absorb the sordid medicine. All the good cops are either dead or quickly jettisoned. No, I'm not a nihilist, and no, I'm not a pessimist. I'm just your average realist with a fetish for the precipice. Bend you over this abyss, I want to make you sweat a bit. I'll drop you once it registers and know that you'll remember it. Daughters of the Revolution soon may lose their membership, maybe through a dissolution, maybe through dismemberment. I won't be the one to choose or execute the severance, but I stand in solidarity with every tool that severs it. Every crimson pool we made of every fascist fool who watched us sacrifice our schools to fund the final crowning jewel affixed in Lockheed Martin's diadem. What's another 20 dead? Our leaders never cried for them. They're laughing in the garden, drunk and pissing on the hyacinths. The royal jubilee to praise this fascist Biden monarchy is imminent, and it would not be possible without the constant slaughtering of innocents, overseas and here at home and anywhere we find a shred of innocence. We won't stand for peace, not in the global or the inner sense. We won't let a single nation live outside our prison fence. We'll provide the bullets that defaced an honest journalist and turn around to praise ourselves for fearlessly upholding the free press and their important service. But I'll make a bet that Anthony starts blinking awfully nervous when you ask him why Assange is being jailed without a purpose. For what may be the greatest, most courageous act of journalism carried out in earnest. All to be rewarded with a slow-mo execution stretching out across a decade till they commute his sentence half an hour after he goes in the furnace. Sometimes I think the world is only turning out of spite. It's like we died a long time ago, and we're so used to being burned that when we saw the light, we all assumed that it was here to burn us. And so we fled into the shelter of a flooded circus, led to higher ground by all the clowns who own the only raft that floats above the sewage. And yes, there's plenty room, but they insist we don't deserve it. They insist the system works. They know it isn't perfect, but say we can't let great become the enemy of good, or all these rolling waves of shit we call democracy and bled out every dime for won't be worth it. But I submit this joke of an American experiment has not been worth a fraction of a damn since we birthed it. I submit that all our contributions to the planet, when subtracting our destruction and the millions we've left dead and labeled damages, would leave us with a failing grade of worthless. My apologies to any blue checks who might be listening. I'm sure that made you clutch your pearls in $1,000 purses. Did I interrupt your fantasy of healthcare exclusivity, replete with fleets of Tesla hearses? Or your daily round of golf claps to pacify our broken nurses? Now, I know my spoken word is like the scalpel of a surgeon who is working on behalf of the insurgents, but I'm just here to open up your eyes so you can see the true reality and not your censored, tailored version. So you can have your copy of my brand new manifesto. I took all my calls for violence, made them danceable, and presto, called it Communism, Taylor's version. Called it Tales of the Great American High-Speed Rail Aversion. Called it How to Put a Bigot into Power, then collectively and feebly coerce him into acting like a decent person. This will be the most important vote you'll ever cast, because we have to wrestle power from the current ruling class and hand it over to the other team of smiling suited serpents. This will be the most important vote you'll ever cast. Now watch them toss it in the vat and see it melt into the surface. There you have it.
Woohoo! Nice. Good thing I don't have anything flammable around here, because that was straight fire. I did have chili. I did. Ooh, uh-oh. I did have chili earlier, so but I'm keeping that under wraps, so everything's fine. That was great, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
What inspired you to do that? Did you see a Taylor Swift video and just like, man, what the fuck is this?
Well, no, when I got to the what was the line before that? Not your censored, tailored version. I thought of Taylor's version. I was like, oh shit, I kind of have to. Like, I'm not gonna get a better opportunity to use that as like a rhyme, and it's gonna fit better. So let's do it. So
that's nice. I mean, which do you prefer? What now? You do actual singing and music, and you do spoken word.
Yep.
I guess with the times that they be crazy right now, do you feel like you feel more inspired to do like the spoken word today as far as the music instead not instead of the music, but just more so than the music?
It's nice. Like, there are some pieces I'll start writing and I want it to be a song. I already kind of have an idea for it. Other times like that, I'll start writing and I get ahead of myself and suddenly I've got, like in that case, like 800 words or something. And I don't want to try to take that once it's already its own thing and try to like stretch it to fit into a song, because I always feel like it loses something. It's nice to have something, if I go into it knowing it's not going to be a song, it can be spoken word, then I can have a bit more dynamic to it. I can kind of stop and start. There's just a lot more fun I can have with it. So it's nice. In fact, I think The Grift, my next album, will probably be a double album. I'll probably have like 10 songs and then 7 or 8 spoken word pieces. So I'll just kind of keep them separate. So
the physical graffiti of this generation. I look forward to that.
Oh man, I love that record so much.
I have something random for you, but it's musically inclined. So this is this is a gentleman who is he's serenading a cow with an accordion. Yeah. That's just lovely. That's love. You don't cows are picky about who they choose to mate with.
So true.
I mean, I don't know that from personal experience. I just I heard that on the streets. So there's this cow, and he seems nice. So bring that down a little bit. That's a little bit too much. Not enough cowbell. Too much cow and not enough cowbell. This cow is like, wow, this is either like a what the fuck are you doing thing, or it's like, are you gonna buy me dinner first before we do this? He's like, stay away, this one's mine, this human's mine. Who are you? Go the fuck away. This is the love no one understands. So I don't know where this is. I don't really want to see that one. That's a scorned lover back there. And this cow's like, whoa, you smell nice. Is that Drakkar Noir?
Gerald is watching. I can't keep doing this anymore. We have to stop meeting like this. He's beginning to get suspicious.
He's going after a jersey. He doesn't. He thinks I'm unattractive. All right, that's enough of that. So, anyway, yeah, that was fun. So, thought you might enjoy that. I don't know who else might enjoy that. I enjoyed it.
I don't want to meet the person that doesn't enjoy that.
Right? A little picking and grinning. Are you gonna do some? You gonna do some Buck Owens for us? A little Roy Clark.
I'm gonna do a little Danzig.
Well, you can do it softly, like.
I am. Yeah. No. Okay. So I
tell your children.
I was coming back home from a bar in the Keys at close to 5, and Mother was on the radio, and walking up to my place after I got out of the car and had that song stuck in my head. I was like, man, it'd be fun to do like kind of a jazzy, kind of laid back version of that. And so I played around with it and did the same chord progression I do for Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush. And voila, here's a little Danzig.
Mother, tell your children not to walk my way. Tell your children not to hear my words, what they mean, what they say, Mother. Oh, Mother, can you keep them in the dark for life? Can you hide them from the waiting world? Oh, Mother, well, I'm not about to see your life. And if you wanna fight out with me, I can show you what it's like. Till I'm bleeding, not about to see your life. And if you wanna fight out with me, I can show you what it's like. Mother, tell your children not to hold my hand. Tell your children not to understand. Oh, oh, Mother, I tell your father, I'm gonna take your daughter out tonight. I'm gonna show her my world. Oh, Mother, well, I'm not about to see your life. If you wanna fight out with me, I can show you what it's like. Till I'm bleeding, not about to see your life. And if you wanna fight out with me, I can show you what it's like. I can show you what it's like. I can show you what it's like. Mother.
Woohoo! That was nice. That was very pretty.
Oh, thank you.
I think I want now your assignment for next time you come on. I want to hear a nice, musically beautiful version of "Smack My Bitch Up."
Oh God, that'd be so. I fucking love Prodigy so much, man.
Speaking of "Smack My Bitch Up," I'm bound by law to play this every time I mention something about smacking bitches up.
Shut up, bitch!
That yeah. So that's that cat. There's a story behind why I show the shut up bitch cat. So one day I love cat videos. I love cat videos. I love when cats do crazy stuff, fun stuff, you know. The cutesy stuff where you're tickling the belly and they're like grabbing, this is you know, that's good stuff. But I love the fucked up cat ones too, where it's just like cats are just fucking with each other. Cats are nature's of comedians, right? And
Really are.
so when I saw that, it's like it was the longer version. It's like the cat sitting there is just kind of like just sitting there, just thinking about his day or her day, whatever whatever it is, and just thinking like, well, I gotta use the cat box here soon. I think I feel a bowel movement coming on. I probably should do
Now
that.
the cat comes up.
And it's just so ninja like because the cabinet just opens slightly and you see the eyes of the cat in the dark, and it opens, and then all of a sudden this paw comes out just real slow, like what's going on, bitch. And that other cat's like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Oh my God.
Totally sucker punches, I guess. So I had to add that to the show. So that's the the shut up bitch cat did. So
Shut up, bitch!
Oh God, you motherfucker! Yeah. So It's just great. It's just I swear to God, I watched that video like 20 or 30 times in a row because I was just peeing. I was peeing. It was great. All right, back to music. Back to music because I could talk about fucked up cats all day. So
fun Prodigy story. When Keith from Prodigy passed, a couple years ago now, I read someone's story that when she went into labor, her husband showed up with a whole bunch of stuff they'd had, and one of the things was supposed to be a CD that was like their labor mix that they were going to listen to, and he had accidentally grabbed the wrong CD, and it was Prodigy. And so they ended up listening to Firestarter on a loop while she was in labor and giving birth. And so all of a sudden this song ended up having this like super special meaning for them. She was like, fuck it, let's go, that's what we got, so put it on. And then they went with it.
Oh my God, that is awesome. That's,
I always think of that now when I hear Prodigy.
I love stories like that where it's just like it's a happy accident, you know, and it's just like here we got you know, I want to like do some you know, like you're at a wedding and it's supposed to be the wedding march and it just turns out to be the killing in the name or something like that,
right?
and the bride just fucking, I'll just go with it. So she just kind of like
yep.
She's walking down the aisle like she's the Northman, you know, just like the shoulders all bucked up, like dun, 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 dun. And it's like, do you take this your groom to be your lawfully wedded husband? Fuck you! Do what you tell me.
Yep. Yep. Oh my God.
Oh. Listen, this is your show tonight. So what else you got for me? What do you got? What do you want to talk about? Tell me a story. Tell me something random. You want to do impressions?
Okay.
You want to do more musical stuff? Yeah, I do want a story
about. Okay. This is a great one. Here's a fun one. I actually went to an open mic once, and I realized I'd forgotten my guitar, so instead I did stand up and I told this story. When I lived in the Keys, I would get off of a gig. Usually, my regular one ended around 10 o'clock. The local grocery store, which was a Winn-Dixie, closed at 11. So I would have enough time to like pack up my stuff, get in there, get a few things, get out. And I usually had a pretty good system. I'd be in and out, get my shit, I'd be done. One night I'm at Winn-Dixie and I am coming around the frozen food aisle, and there's some stuff on the floor up ahead of me. And my first thought is, well, it can't be shit because this is a grocery store. It must be chili. Someone must have spilled chili here. And there are footsteps in the chili going and leading around the corner. Real quick, Jimmy, to answer your question, Amy Winehouse. I wish could make music and live forever. So I follow because I have to at this point. I'm I need to see where this ends. I come around the corner and the footsteps lead to a man who looks so much like Santa. It's just the icing on this whole story. He is clearly a house painter because he's in the like white shirt, white pants, white shoes, which is even better because he's soaked himself with diarrhea. So of course he's wearing all white. He is blackout drunk, like heavy breathing, eyes closed drunk, and he's at the deli loading 2 whole racks of ribs into his cart. Like the finished, refrigerated, you can just take them out and start mowing down kind of ribs. And he has 2-gallon jugs of Hidden Valley Ranch dressing already in the cart, ready to roll. Behind the deli counter, there are 2 employees standing there like just horrified. No one is coming up, and nor should they, because they aren't paid enough to say, excuse me, sir, you've shit all over yourself. You have to leave Winn-Dixie. Here's the door. Let's, they are pretending they don't see him. So I realize they're going to let this guy check out, right? I've got to get my shit and get to the register before he does. But maybe it was the fumes starting to hit me, or just the whole
Oh,
thing
God.
really blindsided me. I swear I grabbed my last couple things I needed to get. I get up to the register. There is only one checkout left, and that man is in front of me. So I hang back
Oh.
a good ways. He takes his time. He pays with change. He gets all these ribs. And when he leaves, I come up and I'm just kind of look at the cashier, and we exchange this glance. And the guy says, "Man, he's in here every night." I was like that? Like shit him? Like that bad? Or is this new? You know? And so I get my stuff, and there's only like 10 minutes left that the store is open. There's no big rush to go clean or shut down anything. And so I spent these few minutes stopping everyone that was about to go in. Like, you can't go in there. There's shit everywhere. It's not worth it. Go to Walgreens.
Right.
Just keep it simple tonight. Like, I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. That man went around the corner to the only bar in town that was open till 4 a.m., the Brass Monkey. And he just plopped down up against a newspaper machine, kicked his feet out, put some of his stuff in his car, came back and sat outside the bar eating his ribs. Just still super shitty. And
Oh.
I couldn't get past the idea of like, okay, it's your first night in the Keys, right? You're there visiting some friends. You guys are going to go out. You're going to have all this fun. And you go up to the Brass Monkey. Things are going to get crazy. And there's this guy who looks like Santa eating 2 racks of ribs, pouring like ranch out of the jug. And it's just shit, like saturated with feces. I mean,
Oh.
it's so bad. So I told my girlfriend at the time, my ex, I told her that story when I got home, and she kind of didn't believe me. I could tell that she felt I was just putting some flavor on it. And 2 days later, we're driving down the road, and there he is riding a bike. And I'm like, I go, honey, that's the Winn-Dixie shitter. And she's like, you know what? Just see him. Like, I can see it. I totally believe you. I'm sorry.
Oh my God. That's the Winn-Dixie shitter.
Winn-Dixie shitter.
Oh God. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the worst part was, the next morning I had like a brunch gig that I played. So I'm driving through town at 9 a.m. Winn-Dixie is open. Everything's fine. There's not a hazmat team there. They're not closing down. There's not some extra cleaning crew. They're open for business. They mopped and they just, kept it going. So I didn't go there for like 2 months after that. Cause like, I couldn't.
I wouldn't be able to look at Hidden Valley Ranch the same way ever again either. My God, 2 gallons? I didn't even know they came in gallons.
It was, like the litter crystals have the big turn, like jar lid, and it's got a handle up here, and then just this big rectangular fucking tub of Hidden Valley Ranch. He had 2 of these guys, and he's got 2 racks of ribs. Like, just hanging out outside the bar, And I'm sure afterwards he went back into the bar, and I'm sure they were like, "Oh, you're back." They were just like, "Hey, you shit all over yourself. You can't come into the Brass Monkey." And so they're like, "Well, here, we saved your seat for you." It's definitely yours now.
If he went in the Brass Monkey, then it was the Funky Monkey after that. I mean, that would be just like you don't recover from that. You just you shit yourself like that. I have a almost similar story, and it's some self-deprecating story. So this was a while back. There was we were down in Red Hook, right?
Okay.
And, Red Hook in Brooklyn, here in Brooklyn, and near the IKEA. So near the IKEA was a Fairway grocery store, pretty big chain at the time. It's no longer in business, I don't think. But in the during the summer, in the back part of the outside the back, there was a place you could sit down. It was like right near the water, and they had barbecue there, right? They had it all goes to shit yourself and barbecue go together. Apparently, I don't want to
I
foreshadow.
like where this is going.
So me and the lady friend at the time, we were enjoying a great plate of ribs, and I normally don't eat spicy foods when I'm on the road, like when I'm away from home, right? Because I like to go where I know in case the A-bomb hits. So but they had these really great like buffalo wings. And my lady friend at the time, she said, well, here, you should try one of these. I said, I don't know. It's we had just got done swimming too, right? There was a public pool over there. We just got done swimming. We dried off. We said, we're going to get some food. I said, all right, fine. So I ate it. I said, oh, this is so good. So I ate like 2 or 3 of them. And so we had to get on the bus to get back to my place, right? And there was at the time there was an IKEA shuttle that took you to the train station from IKEA, and then you could get on the train and go home. So we're riding on the IKEA shuttle, and then we get about halfway to the bus stop, and I feel the gurgles, and it's like, okay, all right, okay, that was some good stuff, all right. But then it got worse, and it got worse, and then the cramps began, and then it was and then the paranoia started setting in, and then the panic. I said, okay, we gotta get off the shuttle. So we finally get to the stop. We get off the shuttle, and it's like a you've heard of a food desert. This was a bathroom desert, right? There was like no.
Oh man, I know that.
The bathroom deserts are the worst, because that's usually when the bad stuff hits. But in the distance, I see a Lowe's hardware store, and I'm thinking, okay, they have public restrooms, I know, because I've been in there a few times. So I'm going across the parking lot with my lady friend, but it's one of those things. It was like that movie Sneakers, where he's sneaking into this office, but there's motion detectors, and he can't go fast. But he has to go fast because the guy's coming back to his office, but he can't speed up. So that's how I was in the parking lot, because I'm clenched, and I'm like, if I run, it's over. It's over, game over. So my brain is the Boy Scout in me is like, I gotta adapt to my environment. Are there bushes over there that I can go to? But we get closer and closer to the door, and we get to the Lowe's. I get in there, and it's like, it's about there, and I said, where's your restroom? And they point. I run over there. I get in there, get in the stall, and thinking I'm home free, and the belt is jammed, and I can't get the belt off, and
that's it.
That was it. And once it started, it was like Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop.
You can't stop.
The smell was so. I think they could have smelled it in space, because I remember I was in the stall, and I heard somebody come in. It's like you're in the stall, you don't see anything, you just see the stall, but you hear. I heard door open, and I heard a guy say, "Oh dear Jesus God," and run out. like he ran into like he was in like a Vietnamese village in 1972. Like he had just seen the horror of war, and
oh man.
But fortunately, I still had my swimming trunks with me. So my shorts, my underwear, ruined. Done deal. No saving it.
Yep.
And so the guy, then another person comes in and goes, are you okay in there? And all I could say is, do you have a trash bag? So I hear the door close, the door opens like a minute later, and just slowly over the stall, you see this trash bag creep.
Oh my God.
Like so slow, like they were like it was like you thought they may have had it on
at
a
the end of a
stick.
pole.
It's like you know, go, you know, just oh god, I'm good.
Oh no.
So those went in there. I used probably like 5 rolls of toilet paper to clean up, and I managed to.
Oh man.
I cleaned myself in the sink, and I put on the swim
Oh my
trunks,
lord.
and it was one of the most jarring experiences of my life. So
Yeah.
now when I go out anywhere, first off, I don't eat anything spicy when I'm on the road. I don't care how delicious it is. I'm not fucking eating that shit. Second, I make sure that the gas tank is on empty when I do leave. Because
Wow.
so I feel Santa Claus's pain, although I wasn't blackout drunk. I was fully awake for the experience, and I've never told that story in public before. So I'm basically looking for pity at this point. So anyway,
I don't have a violently shit myself story, but I do have a desert or a bathroom desert story that is going to be its own chapter in my memoirs whenever they come out, and it will be called "Desperately Having to Shit in Chinatown." I'm in New York with my cousin. We're just left this awesome record store. We're walking through Chinatown, and all of a sudden, it's just like you go from 0 to 60. Like I'm fine. I had literally said no to a bathroom, 30 minutes ago, and all of a sudden, it's like I'm going to need one in the imminent future. Like I need to start getting my sights. Well, every little shop I pass is like a little counter. You walk in, there's a few things on the walls and not much else. And I'm like, okay, where's a business with some public restrooms? And the answer was nowhere anywhere near there. So the largest thing I see is this multi-level like mini mall. Like surely in there are restrooms. And the answer is yeah, all the way down in the lowest basement floor there are restrooms.
right.
So I I go down, and there's a hallway, long hallway down to the left for the men's room, long hallway down to the right for the ladies' room. And I walk down to the men's room. There is a bathroom bouncer sitting outside. He has a chair, a table, and a little lockbox. He opens the lockbox, and there is a change pouch. And he has a roll of toilet paper on a stick, and he holds it out in front of me, and he says 3 squares for $1. And I was like, I mean, at this point, this is my option, So I start pulling out cash, and he goes, no, 3 squares, $1. So this is both the minimum and the maximum I'm allowed to get from this man, right?
Oh no.
So I take my 3 squares, which is like handing me my pea shooter to go into the front lines of battle, And I walk into this bathroom that's like a goddamn horror film. Like it's got the one light that's flickering, and all the stall doors are just kicked off their hinges and laying around. There's just indiscriminate water and smears everywhere. And I would have needed 10 times as much toilet paper to just start to prepare an area to hover, not even sit with what I had. And as badly as I needed to go, the hate in me in that moment just calcified all that waste. And this is, for those that know me, I'm a Pisces. I don't like displace my anger, especially at people working, That said, I balled up the tissue paper. I walked out. I threw it at the man. I said, absolutely not. And then I left. And walking out, there's a woman leaving the ladies' room, and I noticed there's no bouncer outside that room. And I asked her, like, man, what a nightmare, right? She goes, what are you talking about? They're fine. I'm like, your bathroom is fine? She's like, yeah. And I look back at the guy, the bathroom bouncer, and he's watching me like a hawk, ready to just come tackle me if I make a run for that bathroom. So I just had to,
Right.
I had to bounce and just keep on trucking it. until I got to a really lovely Greek restaurant, and they were exceptional people and let me use their facilities, and the rest is history.
Oh
But
my
yeah,
God.
that was one of those places. It's just like there aren't bathrooms here. Bathrooms were back where you came from. You're in a different you're in a different fucking plane of existence where bathrooms are just not talked about. You're in Pleasantville right now. Like it's not happening.
You said you were in Chinatown, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there's I've been to Chinatown many times, and unless you're going to a restaurant to eat or something,
Yeah.
there
Mhm.
really isn't any.
Yep.
I from my lady friend at the time, she like memorized all the bathrooms, the really good public bathrooms.
Yep.
There's a Crate and Barrel on Broadway that has like fantastic bathrooms. The Home Depot on 28th Street has really good bathrooms.
Oh, all right.
It's a little bit of a hobbit trek to get to them because you got to go downstairs and then you gotta go around. And let's see, there's a Container Store too that has immaculate bathrooms, and
Yeah.
the Micro Center in Industry City has really cool bathrooms too, huge too, big stalls too. None of that little stuff. That's it. You described the like the trains the Train Spotting toilet, that movie. That did you ever see Train Spotting? There
Oh
was
yeah.
and he goes into that. Oh, I've seen a few toilets like that in my day. It
Mhm.
was just awful.
Mhm.
Me and some buddies were in New Orleans, and we ate at some place, got some really good seafood. We're drinking beers and stuff, and then we're going around, and I was very fortunate because not only did I need a bathroom, I needed like 3 or 4 bathrooms that night. I don't know what I ate, but it did not want to. I rented it, and it did not want to stay long, and so I left. And but it was like it was kind of like that show, Amazing Race. Right, you had like a time limit to get to the next bathroom, and I got in there, and there was a line, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm not gonna make it, I'm not gonna make it." But then I got in the stall, and everything was fine. And then we got out, and then like maybe a half hour later, oh no, and I ran into this hotel, and they had like a public bathroom. And so it was like a series, like 3 or 4. I should have won a prize afterwards. I guess the prize was clean underwear. Let's see the kitty. Let's see the kitty.
That's it. Yeah, he's gone now.
Oh no.
They're wrestling now. Boys are engaged in some intense. Well, now they're grooming. Who knows what they're doing?
Well, we got him on camera. You tilted it down, so I got to do my obligatory kitty. Oh, the kitties, sweet kitties. I love the cats.
We have Fidel Castro and Chief Brody are our 2 cats.
Chief Brody. I can see him on a boat with like Richard Dreyfuss and Robert Shaw. And it's okay. Here's a movie idea for you. But
you ever read Jaws? Because it's a very, very different fucking story than the movie. Like,
no, I haven't.
Oh man, like there's this whole love triangle that fucking Richard Dreyfuss's character ends up porking Chief Brody's wife.
Whoa.
And there's all this tension because he finds out when they're out at sea, and he almost kills him on the boat. Like it's a whole lot of excessive shit that even people that reviewed the book when it came out were like, you kind of end up just rooting for the shark because the people get so obnoxious. And so they really leaned into that hard for the movie, and that's why the movie's so fucking good.
The movie, I'm old enough to remember seeing that movie when it came out in the theaters, and I was a little bitty thing. It's like one of the first movies I saw. It's like, this is how fucked up I am. Like two of the first movies I saw. Well, 3. So I think I saw Star Trek: The Motion Picture. I saw Amityville Horror with my mom. She's a big horror fan. She loves like Stephen King. And then Jaws, the scene where they're underwater and there's that wood boat, and all of a sudden the head bobs down. You're like, get the fuck away!
Oh
from
yeah,
me.
it was Jaws 3D, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
No, what they may have done it in Jaws 3D, but this is like initially before they even get to the shark. This is just like
gotcha.
they're investigating some boat wreck or something, and the boat's underwater and they're swimming, and it's like there's a hole in the boat, and then all of a sudden, this head with the eyeball sticking out.
Yeah.
Like, ah! But I wanted to pitch an idea to you. I just came up with this. So it's the scene where Quint is telling the story about his time on the Indianapolis, right? The best scene, to me, the best scene in the whole movie, because they're all just like, they're comparing scars and they're drinking and singing like drinking songs and stuff, and then Quint gets all maudlin and starts telling the tale.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of humans, it's cats, right? And it's just and it's cats, and you get their mouths to move like 3 barrels, and it still went down. Hey, 1,000 men went in the water, 1,000 cats went in the water. And it's like it's like a what does they call it? Is there a dog shark? I think there's a dog shark. I can't think. So it's like there's a dog shark in the water, and it's like, they're comparing like, this is where I got in an alley fight with this like, orange tabby. Oh yeah, this. Well, yeah, this is where this Doberman Pinscher got me. Oh well, Anyway, it that probably doesn't need to happen. But I just like cats doing human things. But that movie was crazy. I loved it. That still holds up, and that shit's almost 40 years. Mm-hmm. It's almost 50 years old. Mm-hmm. It's almost 50 years old. I think it came out in 75, I believe, something like that. Yeah. So, Kelly says, I hear there are a lot of dog sharks in Sharknado. I don't know about that. I've never seen any of the Sharknado movies. Have you? Did you see any of those?
I've seen enough, which is about 10 minutes worth. You kind of get everything they're going to throw at you.
Throw at you like the tornado throws sharks at you.
I see what you did there.
All right, enough of that bullshit. Let's talk more music. Let's I don't know. You know what? No, fuck it. We need to do impressions. We need to do celebrity impressions, because we said we were going to do it. We teased it the last 2 times, didn't do it. This time we're going to do it. So what is your favorite impression to do?
Oh man.
Or one of your favorites. You don't have to like name the number one. I know that's pretty hard, because you're kind of an old soul, right? Mm-hmm. We've talked about this, and you're kind of an old soul, and I like that about you. And when you can get the references I'm throwing out there, it's like, all right, this kid's good. This kid's good.
Well, I think I did my Walter Brennan before, right? Because I
think you did a taste of it, but you never did like a full on.
When I read Meatwad. When I read Dr. Seuss to my son, I'll try to just throw in different celebrity impressions and sneak them in there. So then later, if he hears someone in the movie, he'll be like, "Oh, that's the whoever from Salasaloo." So in Salasaloo, when he runs into the guy in the storm, the Midwinter Jicker, I always do Walter Brennan for that guy. So let's see. I was soaked to the gills when a chap in a slicker splashed up and he yelled, "It's the Midwinter Jicker! The Midwinter Jicker came early this year, and it's not going to be very comfy round here. Take cover," he yelled. "Any fool would get out. I've packed up my things, and I'm off to my granddaddy's out in Palm Springs."
See, now I know who Walter Brennan is, right? I've seen some of like the old westerns that he was in, and when you said you could do a Walter Brennan impression, I was like, that's a deep cut right there, because that's old. That's OG. Okay, nobody does that shit.
Boy, I ain't no by curious. I'm a man's man. Get me my whiskey. I'm gonna get tore up. If you need me, I'm gonna be out in the grass. I'll be hanging up sheetrock.
And then when he gets hit, he goes.
I got to tell you, when I was working, I was in my 20s, and that shit came on, like Adult Swim. Space Ghost Coast to Coast was the first one.
Oh,
Like
man, Space
that
Ghost.
was, oh my God.
I was watching, actually, I've been on a big REM kick lately, and I was watching when they managed to get Michael Stipe on Space Ghost,
Yeah.
and he had so much fun with them. It's hilarious. It's so good. Like, oh God, I love that show.
It was so great. Yeah, because like some people would get on there and he would just ask these bizarre questions,
Mhm.
and oh God. Well, yeah, Aqua Teen Hunger Force was the best
Yep.
for me. Like the early seasons with Carl, you know,
Yep.
who wrote the moon rules on my car with a key, you know.
I love when he spray paints the flames on his above ground pool. He's like, it's like my pool that's terracing around the backyard, but it's staying still. And still waters run deep.
That was so bizarre. Just like I said, I thank God I was a stoner, like, for, you know, an up and coming stoner at the time.
It
I
was
just
golden
started
age,
smoking
it
pot
was.
when that. Oh my God! And the one where he had the foreigner belt,
Yeah.
and
All the powers of
fill
Florida.
your eyes with double
With
vision.
double vision.
Woo. And then at the very end, it's got to connect 4, and he goes, "Who sent this thing to Head Games?"
And I mean, they just dropped so many like obscure, especially in that episode when he starts talking about like the Dennis DeYoung solo album Desert Moon and shit. Like, just really, really digging it. They just had so much fun writing for themselves. It's so good.
I know. I think it was one of those rare shows where they're like, "Look, we don't care if anybody else
Geddy
thinks
Lee
it's funny."
Geddy Lee of Rush, of Salesman, of Salesman.
What was the one they were growing? Like the kitchen was so fucked up that they ended up growing like sentient mold. It was and it was like,
Oh yeah.
and
Yep.
they and so and who said, oh,
Drippy.
it was a
Oh, Drippy.
old drippy.
Yep.
Old drippy.
I was like a drippy.
It's like, it was like Shake got sick, and so he had to break off a piece of old Drippy because he was like penicillin. And then Drippy died. It was like,
man.
oh my God, it was the saddest fucking shit. But it was so, it was the most weirdest sadness I've ever seen. I can't stop crying. I can't. The tears. I mean, all that shit, man. You had Aqua Teen Hunger Force. You had Space Ghost Coast to Coast. You had C Lab 2021.
Oh God, yeah.
And then the little later there was Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law. I always like that theme song. Who's the man in the suit? Who's the cat with the beak? Oh man. Talk about like, and I was a late bloomer when it came to pot. I started smoking like in my early 20s, early to mid 20s. And those were some of the shows I was watching with my buddies. We were getting stoned and watching that. And this was also around the time of Mr. Show with Bob and David on HBO.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, Mr. Show. If you've never seen Mr. Show, it's one of the best sketch comedy shows ever made, in my opinion. Sure. It is just so, I mean, the way they would start it and then they'd bring it all around full circle at the end.
Yeah.
Oh God. There was this one episode, this guy, they had the lie detector test, right? And had one of the cast, Jay Johnson, it had Bob Odenkirk. He was the one who was applying for the job, and they kept saying, like, have you ever smoked crack? And he goes, yeah. And it's like, wait, you've smoked crack? Yeah, I've done heroin. I've done, all this stuff. And then so Jay Johnson comes up and says, have you ever taken a train and eaten it piece by piece after you derailed it with your penis? He goes, yes. And they look at that like, oh, come on. He goes, it was for charity. Anyway. Altered State of Druggachusetts. There's like the Dr. Evil kind of guy. He has this telethon. It's like, if you want me to not blow up the world, you'll give me this money. And he had a telethon for it. It was so brilliant. What other comedies stuff do you like? I mean, like, what did you like grow up with, or what was?
I mean, I've loved Tim and Eric. The first few seasons of Awesome Show were just so bizarre, and especially once they were able to start getting, you know, totally off the wall guests, like get Karen Black and Ed Begley Jr. and shit to come on and do some of these skits. It's just so great. There's also a show I really love called Bruiser, and it didn't get picked up. It was just 5 short, like, pilot episodes of this sketch comedy show in the UK, and it has 2 of the guys from Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. I don't know if anyone that would be familiar with that, but also has what are their first names? But Mitchell and Webb, who would end up being in their own sketch comedy, different sketch comedy things, and Martin Freeman when he was fairly young, and getting to see them all doing this stuff together. Also Olivia Colman, the actress who ended up being on The Crown and stuff, and they're just doing it's so bizarre, and every episode will basically be more of some of the same sketches. Like, they'll introduce a few different characters and bits in episode 1, and then every other episode is just kind of more of those. But it's so funny, and just, again, full of weird pop culture references in and of itself. That was one of those things, once I watch it, I'm like, fuck, I'm going to watch this all the time, aren't I? Like, these 5 episodes, like, wear out. And I totally do. Like, it's so good. Other than that, like, growing up, I loved MASH. I still do. I still know every episode of MASH by heart.
I've seen every episode, like, maybe like 4 times, because it would come on right after the 6 o'clock news. Once it got syndication, it came on right at 6:30.
Yep.
And then you go into your network stuff. Oh God. And Alan Alda was he was one of my favorites. He was
Same.
he was like, I wanted to go into comedy at an early age, and he was one, like, at the time we're talking like the 70s, early 80s. Robin Williams was an influence, and he was an influence too, because it was just, I kind of had that same kind of sense of humor, right? I could be serious when I needed to be, but a lot of times I would just, like, say stuff out of nowhere, like he would. And he was just so funny. It was just really good comedy. And God, that show has been, next year, I can't believe this. Next year, the last episode of MASH would have aired 40 years ago. 40 years ago. Yep. And it's still fresh in my mind. You know, just watching that, and it was weird. It was like, it would start off, you know, because it was a movie, and then it became a TV show. I think it was like 70 or 71. It was on for 13 seasons. So it was like from 1970 to 1983. And so when you watched it in syndication, you know, you'd see it 5 days a week. And so you go through the whole thing pretty quick. So you got young Hawkeye and all, you know, like Trapper John McIntyre, but then by the end you have Colonel Potter and BJ Honeycutt and Charles Emerson Winchester.
Oh man, so many of Charles's storylines ended up being some of my favorite episodes of MASH. Like him teaching the guy how to play the piano pieces for one hand. That was always such a killer one. And God, yeah, in the finale in Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen, him teaching the musicians that piece and then them getting killed, like, still guts me like a fish to this day. Like, it's not pretty.
It was one of the best final episodes of a show probably
Yeah.
ever.
I love the tidbit that what was it in New York City, that they had wastewater issues from so many people flushing their toilets at the same time when the episode ended, from everybody holding it and waiting till it was over to go. All these people flushed at once, and there were like water shortages in the city.
Well, it was a half-hour TV show, but the finale was 2.5 hours. It was longer than most movies. We're talking like Lord of the Rings kind of like, length there, but it was a movie. I mean, it was probably a good self-contained movie. And
I grew up like we had VHS recordings of all the MASH episodes from when they were on TV, and so I used to pop a MASH in and watch that at night, And when I was little, I like wanted to be Hawkeye, and was going to like gin when I got older, no matter what it tasted like. I was determined, and thankfully, I loved gin. So it ended up working out.
Rot gut. Because they always made a face when they drank it, but they still drank that stuff. It was just like, uh-oh. Speaking of MASH.
Well, you had a good run, Warren. They're finally here for you.
They're coming to take me away. I know, right? It's like, no, I'm all right. I'm fine. We're trying to do a TV show here, all right? You go get somebody else. You come back for me later, okay? I'll be ready. But yeah, I mean those shows like MASH. I used to watch the hell out of MASH. Like there was like when I got home from school every day, there was like the afternoon shows that were on too. But like the old school ones. So you had like Beverly Hillbillies and the Andy Griffith Show and like Gilligan's Island and all these like 60s shows were on. There was a run too when the 60s Batman show was on too. That was great.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah. I love 60s Batman. But
and I'm a big old time radio guy. I love Jack Benny so much. Like so much. I listen to old Jack Benny radio shows all the time.
This is what he'd do, kids. This was like kind of his trademark thing. He'd like he'd fold his arm and then have his hand up on his
that exasperated hand to the face. It's so good.
Very disapproving look on his face.
Especially in the early radio show when he had Mel Blanc on doing sound effects and stuff, like being his piece of shit car starting up, and you'd hear Mel Blanc about hyperventilating doing the sound effects, and then hear them all cracking up. Like there are so many great moments of someone flubbing a line and then they don't let them live that line down for the rest of the episode. They keep quoting it back. It becomes a running gag 8 episodes later. They're bringing it back. Like that was one of my favorite things, is that there was something very unique about that show. And especially when I found out later how hard Jack Benny fought to have Rochester be a part of the show, have the treatment that he got when they traveled and did stuff together. Like he would not have him treated as anything other than like a star performer. And especially at a time when you would get, treated like shit for that. Like Betty White did. That he was really unflinching about like treating this man as he should be treated. And there's just one more reason to fucking love Jack Benny.
Yeah, definitely. And it was, I mean, pretty brave to do at that time too, but he was such such a star though. He had that power and he used that power for good. Where a lot of other people weren't. They wouldn't go out on a limb for people like that. You know?
Man, I made the mistake of watching on YouTube. There's a thing from CBS when he passed away, of like Jack Benny's funeral. And there's all these, Hollywood, just heavyweights, like classic Hollywood people there. And I was not prepared to watch George Burns cry And I've never been the same. Like seeing him break down trying to talk, you can't handle George Burns crying. Like no matter how much you think you can, you fucking can't. It could be used to extract secrets from people. It's so heartbreaking.
Well, he was just a sweet looking old man anyway. And to see somebody like that break down, it would just like break your heart too, you know?
But yeah, no, I've always loved Jack Benny. In fact, I have a song. It's not on any albums. It's just on YouTube. The name's escaping me. Hang on. Anyways, I sampled Mary Livingston's laugh in the background of this song pretty much the whole time. It's called Horseman Number 4. If you go back on my YouTube, it's the first video up on there. But the background, there's a laughter that runs throughout it, and that's Mary from the Jack Benny Show, because she has this very awesome, great dry laugh that almost sounds like someone forcing a laugh, but it's very genuine. That's just how she laughed. And I think I sampled Jack in there too. I think there's him saying like, "What do you think is so funny?" or something like that. Like in there, I can't remember. This is 2 years ago. This is a lifetime away. But anyways, yeah, there's Jack and Mary on that song. So fun fact.
I mean, that's interesting.
This is a secret show, so I can probably say it. I also super illegitimately sampled the opening menu music for the original Animal Crossing. There is a moment where the piano goes from this pretty upbeat thing to just these few minor notes, and I slowed it way down and snuck it in there too. So
nice.
After that, I got a lot sneakier with my samples. Like I have there is actually a very, very, very small moment of not What a Fool Believes, but another Michael McDonald song. I Keep Forgetting. The drum fill at the very end, he does this little triplet, and I had to play with that a lot so it doesn't sound anything like it, but I used it as a little percussion moment 2 times at the end of one of my songs. Like no one else knows what it is but me, and you couldn't tell in a million years, but it's like I just fucked around with this enough to know like that's the drum moment from this moment in the song, and buried it in there.
That's a very underrated song.
Man.
My mind with
that. You know what's interesting? I didn't know like he and Kenny Loggins both co-wrote What a Fool Believes, and they actually both recorded their own versions of it. And it's so bizarre to hear Kenny Loggins' version because it moves a little differently, it's structured slightly differently, he's got all these background singers, but it's from the same time period. And it's so interesting to just imagine the alternate universe where that was the hit and Michael McDonald's wasn't, because it's a totally different song all of a sudden. But yeah, they both recorded it at the same time because they just shared custody, because they truly loved each other. You know?
It's weird to when you compare Kenny Loggins doing like Danger Zone from Top Gun, but he also did, I'm All Right from Caddyshack, right? Which I love that song. That's my favorite Kenny Loggins song is from Caddyshack. That guitar, I'm all right. Don't nobody worry about me. Yeah, it's just, and then it goes, but then you get to, which going back to GTA 5, that's the rock channel that's on there. The DJ is Kenny Loggins. Like they got Kenny Loggins to do the DJ stuff for it because
awesome.
He does. There's like 2. I think Danger Zone is one of the songs that's on there, and I'm Free is the other one that. And he says, and it's funny because he's like introing that song. He goes, and here's I'm Free by me. And then which I always liked that was from Footloose. And he did some really good soundtrack songs. And I'm Free was like I back in the 80s, I really love that song. It still kind of holds up a little bit today, but that classic, that ooh, you know, kind of spooky.
There was
Do you
some
like-
stuff of Billy Squires that he ended up dabbling in that same kind of Kenny Loggins vibe, like that same, you know, 50s guitar kind of thing that Kenny Loggins would do. A lot of those, like there were quite a few Billy Squire moments where he did that. And I fucking love Billy Squire.
Billy Squire, of course, The Stroke, love The Stroke, but my favorite Billy Squire song is In the Dark. I just love that. I just like the way that it gets that. It just like bang, punches you right in the face right off the bat. And
one just, night when it isn't quite so late and it wouldn't wake my son up, I have to do Everybody Wants You. Because I
Everybody Wants You's a good one too.
I love
Everybody Wants You. So
what's fun is his career got totally ruined by a music video that's pretty cringy for the song Rock Me Tonight. And
oh, really?
It's him doing this really uncomfortable, like, dance around this apartment and then like cat crawling across the floor and a lot of writhing and squirming. And he claims the director told him to do it and said, we'll make it look cool in post. The director says that was all Billy. This was all Billy's idea. Wow. But either way, his ticket sales were like a third of what they were before once this video dropped. And there was just it was like the damage was done. And that it shut him down at a pretty strong point. And yeah, no one will own up to the creative decisions made for this video, but it is a very uncomfortable video to watch.
I think I remember that too. It was it was kind of like, because there was a few of those
rolling in the bed sheets and just tussling his hair a lot. And it's, who's this for you? Or is it to me? Because I feel like I'm being molested right now. Like, please stop.
Yeah, there were a few of those. There were a few of those back then that were just like, because you know you're talking about early 80s, early to mid 80s, and you know they were still kind of experimenting with the video format. You know, because most videos before that, there were like technically videos in the past, but it was all on stage of them playing like concert video type things, or concert film at the time before video came out. And then they like, once the MTV came along, it was like, okay, we gotta get artistic and try and you know, try and make some art out of this, you know, because you had like basically the Thriller movie from Michael Jackson. He was the one that kind of like shot video into the stratosphere as far as like getting people involved with it, because everybody watched that video. They couldn't wait for that fucking video to come out. And
yeah, I should. You're right. Hang on, do I have time? Can I sneak in one more song?
Yeah, of course. What you got?
Lying awake, it's time to tune in on you. And if I was young, it didn't stop you coming through. And I said, oh. They took the credit for your second symphony, rewritten by machine and new technology. And now I understand the problems that you see. And I said, oh. I met your children, oh. What did you tell them? Video kill the radio star. Video kill the radio star. In my mind and in my car, oh, we can't rewind, we've gone too far. Oh, no. Oh, no. And now we meet in an abandoned studio. We hear the playback and it seems so long ago. I still remember how the jingles used to go, and they said, oh, 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 you were the first one, now, oh, 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 you were the last one. Video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star. Pictures came in the backyard. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Oh, no, no.
Nice. Like a Bob Marley kind of thing going on there. It was really good.
When I lived in the Keys, like everyone wanted Jimmy Buffett in the Keys, and I wasn't going to be doing a whole lot of Buffett. So I was like, you know what? What's anything that I can do and kind of make it a little islandy, but it's still something people know. So I did a whole lot of like capo and stuff, really, really high, so it sounds like ukulele, and 80s stuff was super fun. That song especially. It's always fun to play something like that people know, but they don't expect to hear acoustic, you know, and get the slow turn, and like people that weren't planning on paying attention having to pay attention to you is really fun. So that song was always my favorite to play at shows and stuff.
No, I hear you. I mean, that's what happened with the Tears for Fears had a song from their first album, The Hurting, and then I can't, what's the name of the song? It was in Donnie, it ended up being in Donnie Darko, but I think it was by was it Ryan Adams that did it? Was it that dude? It has that haunting beginning, that la 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 la.
Hang on, I say.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for the daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere. And the tears are filling up their glasses. No expression, no expression. In my head I wanna drown my sorrow. No tomorrow, no tomorrow. I find it kinda funny, I find it kinda sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, 'cause I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Mad world. Mad world. Mad world.
Oh yeah, that was beautiful, man. But people don't understand. The Tears for Fears, that was did the original, and it's like, it's very poppy. It's like, and the first time I heard that rendition, the one you did, I was like, ooh, that's so nice. That was really good. I think it was from Donnie Darko that the first time I ever heard that, which is an incredible movie, by the way, and great soundtrack too, because it has Head Over Heels, my favorite song probably of all time. I love Head Over Heels. I just when I hear that, you hear that piano at the beginning, that
yeah.
Every time I hear that, I get the chill down my spine from it, just like because I know it's coming, and then the keyboard that
Yeah.
while the piano the video is great. The video is great with they're in the library with the monkey and the monkey. It's just I was like, this is my song now. This is my song forever. I love this song. And you know, I want it played at my funeral. If I have a funeral. If it's not, I really want the Lebowski funeral where they just basically cremate me and put me like in a Folgers can and just take me out to the beach and then get my dust all over them. So I'm really hoping that happens, but I want them to play head over heels while they're doing it. So, yeah, no, Kelly, that's I heard Mad World back in the 80s because that was Tears for Fears first album that a lot of people don't realize. They had a first album called The Hurting, and it was it almost sounded kind of Depeche Mode-ish, kind of. It had that Depeche Mode flavor to it, but then they got to songs from The Big Chair, and it became a little bit more of that 80s that you're used to, Mad Old Miguel. Miguel, you're so terrible. You're a terrible person, Miguel. Well, we've reached the end of our tether here this evening, and I've enjoyed this journey with you. I think I'm starting to get more people to come on this show for just fun, random stuff. The regular show is more like kind of a theme night kind of thing. You get people on and you talk about them, or you talk with a group of people about a certain subject or whatever and go from there. But this little gig I really enjoy because we could just talk about whatever. I love just going any direction, basically whatever you want, whatever the chat wants. And you know, I'm finding I'm kind of digging this a little bit more than the regular show.
It's super fun. It's really, I love them both.
I love them both too. I don't know if I can stay up this late that much, but because it reminds me of the old days. I used to be a night owl. I kind of miss those days. So.
I used to play gigs and not get done till 4 in the morning or something, and now I'm like, oh, it's 10. I should get ready for bed.
Yeah, when I worked in TV,
there's a tiny Warren in my guitar. Hi, little
what's
Warren.
that?
There's a tiny little Warren in my guitar.
Hi, little Warren. How baby me, I'm little teeny tiny me.
Your guitar is gonna give birth to my twin, my more successful, talented twin. All right, so we got to get out of here. We got to get you to get you to bed. Tell us where can people? I got your tweeters right there below your thing there. Where else? You got a show coming up Tuesday?
Tuesday night. Will be the 3rd episode of American Tradition, which is going to be all about Obama. It's called Hook, Line, and Single Most Bombs Dropped by a Sitting President.
Nice.
And
I love that
the next
show.
night, I'll be getting to join the Action for Assange vigil for their triumphant return after a while, which should be super fun. So
nice. Oh yeah, excellent. I know Misty missed you. I love Misty. Misty is such a sweetheart. And
other than that, my Bandcamp is the same. Jesse Jett Bandcamp. I recently changed all my prices to free. So if you want something, by all means, go get it. If someone wants to give me money, I love you. I appreciate it, but I didn't want money to get in the way of people getting to hear or have the music. So go nuts, get it while it's hot.
Well, listen, on that note, I want to ask you a favor. So like, at the beginning of this show that I do, I try to use like friends' music that, because it's copyright free. But it's also like, I like to, shout out my friends' bands and stuff. And I want to be able to include your music, Mad Crabs too, if he's still in the mix. I'd love to get you guys, in on that and have you as part of like the opening music for this show if that's cool. And also if you know of anybody or anybody in the chat knows of anybody that is a musician, they don't have an album deal or anything, or maybe they're just a garage band, it doesn't matter. Send me links to stuff because I want to add more and more original music and give everybody at least, do what I can and at least give a shout out and give it maybe just a little bit of exposure to the 10 or so people that watch the show on a given time. So just keep that in mind. Before we go, let me just shout out one more time everybody in the chat. We had a pretty decent crowd tonight.
Super fun. Thank you guys. Love you.
Jesse, the straw stirring the drink in the chat there, mingling, very good. Glad handing, saying hi to everybody. Kelly and Cynical Girl, Mandy Jones, the lovely and talented Miss Jimmy Sinclair, thank you so much. Miguel, my buddy, appreciate you, brother. Going up the list here. Oh, the Tinder girls were here. We had to escort them out. So unfortunately, Signs, good to see you. Ivana, good to see you as well. I know Reef was in here too. Thank you so much, Reef. Let's see, who else was in here? It may have been it. If I missed anybody, I really do apologize. Hopefully I don't miss you. My aim will be better next time, I promise. Green Meadows, thank you so much. And yeah, I think maybe Frankie Lee, thank you, appreciate it. There's some propaganda live propaganda live. Goodness, thanks for dropping in, brother. Big Mad Crab, of course. You guys are so talented. You and Crab are just like, I feel very fortunate to know you guys and listen to the music that you guys put out. It's just so great. Not just musically.
Yeah, Greg's stuff is phenomenal. We were just talking about him last night. Actually, just his stuff is so fucking good. It's so good.
Well, I mean, the music itself is great, but it's just like the words and lyrics are just top shelf.
Incredible.
Just it's you can't
Absolutely.
beat it. So
seriously.
But
yeah,
thank you, man.
Everybody.
Get you some sleep. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a great holiday weekend. We got Memorial Day on Monday. You can find my shit at Linktree/Extra Bulla. I will be doing the news on Kerberos Media every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern with Miss Jimmy Sinclair. And we took a couple of 3 weeks off from the main show on Thursdays. But this week, this coming week, hopefully we're going to have Jay Buffont on there. Maybe Comrade Misty's going to be on there too. She said she would. She's been hemming and hawing. So maybe we could have like a double feature of craziness on there. I'm looking forward to that. I love those folks. They have so much energy, and I get tired afterwards because I feel like they've drained me of my life force so that they can continue to be hyper and crazy. Thank you, Jesse, as always. Thanks everybody to the chat. Have a great weekend. Be safe, wash your ass, keep it clean. You never know if you have to go to the hospital, you don't want to go in there with dirty drawers or Lowe's. Keep them clean at Lowe's too. Good night, everybody. Peace.
Shut up, bitch!